for that because I don't know what it is, but I'm just explaining to this kid fresh out of college, has his new engineering job. What do I do?
Right.
You know, most of us learn from our parents, our friends, and things like that. And you and I will have a different take on that because if you don't learn it yourself, if you don't really look at the details of it, when I bought my first house, oh my God, all I knew was what the payment was.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I had no idea what closing costs was. I was no idea what an amortization schedule was. I had zero idea of, well, okay, what's the payment? Okay, great. I can make the payment.
Right.
Thank you very much. See you later. And no, I even thought about appreciation.
Right.
I didn't even think it was real.
Most people don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
They have no idea what appreciation is. Now, I'll say this. Even though we're in, maybe have different, not values, but different ways we look at things based upon our parents' histories.
Right. Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yeah, parents' histories.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
So going down that route a little bit, the details, the minuscule details may be different,
Sure.
but the overall concepts are still the same. What did Grandma have? She had the rainy day fund.
Right.
What's a rainy day? Well, it's a savings account.
Yeah.
Right? You put money away. Pay yourself first.
Right.
The Richest Man in Babylon. Read that book. It tells you save 10%. You pay yourself first.
Right.
Right? God's telling you, give me first 10% of whatever it is you make. You just give it right back to me.
Right.
Okay, fine. What comes after that? Well, now you take 10% of that and you give it to yourself.
Right.
And now you have everything else to divvy up how you need to.
So is that the basic system?
No, well, that's a basic concept.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, what you put money into, right, nowadays can be completely different. And that's where I was getting into, where the way we put the savings, the way we divide our money can be different now because there's more knowledge coming out there, right? Interest rates are completely different than what they were back even in the 80s when I was born.
Well, let me ask a question this way. You have first generation college students.
Okay.
You have first generation homeowners.
Yeah.
Or you have generations of owning nothing, right? Owning no land and no chance at appreciation. For those people that don't have someone to look to that has had those things, where do they start? And how do they learn and how do they get to feel like it is available and it is attainable and it is real and it really does happen?
Yeah.
It's not a fairy tale.
It's a really great question. And I think it's going to matter on what you have access to.
Sure.
Right? Because access to stuff is important.
Right.
Some people say that, some people don't have everyone has access to everything. It's just where you need to go for it. It might be a little bit further to go somewhere and get that and so on and so forth. But, YouTube nowadays, everyone has a phone.
Right.
Everyone has a phone. Even I'm more than certain that even the poverty level individuals are able to obtain a phone, or at least they can go to a library where there's a computer.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
There is a plethora of knowledge, some good and some bad for
right,
whatever it is, on even YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I do YouTube. I'm always on YouTube.
I found Dave through the radio.
Okay. Right.
But he was also just starting his YouTube.
Right.
Right. And it was there that I immersed myself with his clips.
Right.
Okay. And he had a ton of it, plus his books. So you have the library with books, you have the visual with the YouTube, and you have to invest time.
Well, the thing is, what I'm getting back to is, or I'm trying to boil it down to, is how do you even get the vision?
Oh, yeah.
How do you it's
that's tough because I'll say this: there are some to your point that there may be those who may not think it's possible,
right?
And I would have to say, if it happens to at least one person, it's possible.
Right.
It doesn't matter what what those limiting beliefs, because that's what they are, limiting
Right.
beliefs.
I love it. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
That's what they are. They're limiting beliefs. I'm in this position. Everyone I see around me, and I'm constantly being bombarded with phrases and sayings and so on and so forth, and visuals here in front of me that tell me that I will not succeed or I cannot succeed. Truth is, if one person who looks like you can do it or has done it, it is possible. How the method to get there can be widely different. I mean, our own vice president,
Yeah.
J.D. Vance,
Right.
grew up as what some people would consider WTF, right? Or not WTF, but white trash,
Right.
WT.
Right. Yeah.
Very tough life. Didn't have a father figure. Was
Right.
raised by his grandmother.
Right.
Right? Strong figure, right? She was a strong
Sure.
figure in his life, but nonetheless, he didn't have his father figure there most of the
Right.
life. And he goes to some of the most prestigious colleges in the world,
Mm-hmm.
has a beautiful wife and family,
Right.
and is one of the youngest vice presidents ever to be on the ticket, and is now in office.
Amazing. Yeah. Right.
I mean, that story is there. Now, look at if someone wanted, let's say, an African American aspect, I look at Thomas Sowell, even in history, Booker T. Washington.
Right.
You look at Martin Luther King. If you want to utilize him as a stature, Clarence Thomas
Right. Mm-hmm.
holds one of the most prestigious, the highest prestigious in the judicial system
Right.
in law is to be on the Supreme Court as a Supreme Court judge. He's there. He's done it.
Right.
Everything. That you want to go business route. I mean, the whole movie Pursuit of Happiness
Yes.
with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
That was Gardner,
Yeah.
right?
Love that movie. Yeah.
I loved that movie.
Right.
Because look at even we know it's like over dramatization perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
There was still there's truth in that. He spent nights in the subway
Right.
with his son.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so dramatic. If that and the technology then was nothing what it is now,
Right.
it's the barrier to entry into making decent money is so much easier today than it was back then, and they still did it.
Well, I love you said the word barrier.
Mm.
Now this is something that now has nothing to do with race or upbringing or whatever else, but there's certain barriers, financial barriers, that you can't get this information from an individual. Like if you don't have the money for a coach, if you don't have the money for a mentor. Now you can go learn it and watch YouTube and things like that, but there's always that validity. Hey, look, is what I'm watching, is this real? How do I know this is not a con job? How do I know that now there's a point to all this. The point I'm trying to make is that I know the smartest financial guy I know, besides you, there's a barrier to him.
Okay.
So I can't just send him anyone. He's the one that's most studied, most learned, most involved in the markets. He is deep. He's managing millions and millions and millions. Now his firm is almost up to $1 billion. They're small and they're Nashville. And this guy, he is like, hey, look, I don't have time. If you don't have X amount of in the accounts, I cannot talk to you. I don't have time. And,
That's unfortunate.
And then the CPAs. My book, Make It a Yes. I'm involved with deeply involved with taxes, and I'm trying to find out the best people that know the best strategies. And I'm talking to this guy year after year. That I'm like, hey, I finally got this one strategy, and I finally know how to get these people to you, and so that you can back up with what I'm doing. He goes, oh man, I'm sorry, I can't deal with that. I'm $1 million and up. And so if their gross revenue, if they're not in the $1 million range, I don't have time.
Believe it or not, I was in that same position when it came to taxes and whatnot.
Sure.
I was told that you don't necessarily make enough for us to even warrant a change.
And that is the knowledge that you need. and that you can actually, hey, look, and especially with taxes, because if you get a CPA, they're saying, I am backing up what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's a thing called investment properties, thing called cost segregation studies. You want to hire this third party, you can do it yourself. My father-in-law was like, oh, I'll just do that myself.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, well, okay.
That's a foolish thing.
Here's what comes with it.
Yeah.
A legal team.
Yeah.
A legal team comes with it to back up the tax law.
Yeah.
Because if you really are aggressive, you could need legal representation.
Absolutely.
But I love that you said the word barrier, because there's certain barriers. Now, what I like about you is that, or speaking with you, is that I don't see there's a lot of, like what you said, there's not a lot of barrier to get to you, maybe.
No, there isn't.
And you don't want that, right?
No, no, absolutely not.
So but to get to your type of education level and your real life experience, the point I'm trying to make is that's amazing. That's amazing for
praise God.
Amazing gift that you can give to people, because it's not only life experience, it's the diving into the knowledge. You have a doctorate. It's not like you don't know how to study.
Yeah, I've done my fair share of studying.
Right. And so those are the points I'm trying to make, is that there's barriers, and then there's good people out there that are trying to help alleviate those barriers.
And there's also the barriers, but opportunities as well. So barriers are there, but there's also opportunities before and after those barriers.
Well, if the barrier's there, do what you did. You figured out how to get around the barriers.
Right.
It's not like you just said, hey, Dad, I'm in debt. I need $2 million, or I need $1 million. Oh, now I'm out of debt. No, you had to hey, we can't go to Bermuda every summer or every winter.
That was a big thing. Vacations was a big thing when we made that sacrifice.
Yeah, because you're friends.
Yeah.
If you got other doctors, and she's around dentists, you're around doctors, you're around pharmacists, and
lifestyle creep. Yeah,
and
100%.
Hey, we're going to wherever we're going to Europe this summer. Why don't you go buy the package we're buying, and blah? And I'm sure that was a major thing.
Just again, and also when you start having your friends start having kids, that's a big thing, because now it's like, well, what do we do with the kids? Let's go somewhere with the kids. Let's have them get the fun experiences that we either had or didn't have. Right. So it's a one, and that was a big sacrifice, because you want to give your kids the best.
Yes.
You want, and I still want, to give my kids the best. Stuff that I didn't have.
Right.
However, there also comes responsibility.
Right.
And again, stewardship. How do I do it the right way?
Right.
What is more important?
Yes.
Right? You asked that question before. What is more important at the end? Right?
Yeah.
And it's all, and for us, it's God is number one, my wife is number two, my kids are number three.
Right.
And in that order, all day long, every day. And
I love that.
I try to make sure, and I'm fault. I'm not a saint.
Right.
I am by no means. I am a sinner, and always am a sinner, and I understand that, and that's why I repent every day, because I know there's even things that I'm not even aware of.
Sure.
So I want to make sure that I'm at least going in a path or down a path that is provided to me by the Word, through the Word, and it is giving my family a good direction. And that's whatever barriers happen in the path of that, I know that there's a way over it. I just know that.
I love it. Yeah, because you got faith, you have the hope, and you have all the knowledge at your fingertips, just like what you're saying with YouTube. I tell my mother the same thing. I'm like, hey, look, just if you don't know how to do something, just Google it.
Yeah.
Just do what everyone else is doing right now.
Just before I came here, my mother-in-law's boyfriend, he was talking to me about AI.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't know like what's, you know, Chat GPT, and he didn't you know, but there's another AI. I'm like, well, each company has their own, like, you know,
Sure.
Google has Gemini, Microsoft has Copilot, OpenAI is Chat GPT.
Right.
And I was explaining some things to him, and he has a Pixel 8 phone. So that's a Google phone.
Okay.
And he was asking me something just before I left about he's in a suicide pool for football,
Okay,
right? And he wants to know like certain percentages, and he's like, I'm like, well, why don't you just ask Gemini? He goes,
Yeah.
how do I do that? What are you talking? I'm like, well, here. So I took his phone, went over to Google, and I went into the Gemini section,
Right.
asked the question, and it brought it up, and he's like looking, and he goes, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
And I'm like, he goes, oh man, you shouldn't have shown me this. I'm like, why? Because now I'm just going to be on it all day asking it questions. And I'm like, well, that's a good thing.
That's okay. You're learning.
Asking
Yeah.
questions is the right way to go. No one should be ashamed to ask questions.
right. I love
Anyone
that.
out there, if you're feeling ashamed, you're not alone. Everyone feels that.
Right.
It's getting over it, because you need to find the answer. You can't find the answer if you don't ask the question.
Well, I want to get back to something that you said that we were talking about.
Yeah.
The stewardship. As a parent, as someone in a relationship, right? If you think about marriage and the complexities of the day to day, that's when the honeymoon phase is over, that, you know, hey, look, the money's all run out. We're down to the day and day grind, right? We got to be up at this time. We got to be at this place at this time. We have to, all the day to day, something breaks, whatever. It's not all roses and rainbows. There is the day to day. And what the point I'm trying to get at of the stewardship, it seems to me like we are preparing for the day-to-day. We're preparing for the mishaps. We're preparing for the layoffs. We're preparing for the world, you know, changing without any fault of our own. Like if we go to work and we go to school, whatever, we go to work and we're making this money, everything's fine. But when something happens, we don't have the emergency fund. We don't have the equity line. So if you're running with your margins that thin, like, hey, look, if I don't get this paycheck for a month or 2 months, do I know, am I confident that I'm going to pay those bills? And then especially if we talk about borrowing, going to parents, going to your wife, going to their parents, you know, those kind of things. If you as a provider in the relationship take those ego blows, your self-confidence is depleting, right? And then on top of it, their self-confidence and then their confidence in you to lead the situation. And so what I think about a lot of the time is like, I really need to look in the future and anticipate. Because if I don't anticipate, every time I fail to anticipate, something happens and I'm caught off guard. And then when I put ourselves and my family in the compromising positions, you know, when I lived through the mortgage crash, holy cow.
I can imagine.
The only thing I was able to keep was the house. But I was able to keep the house.
Right.
Because I had a wife and a child. If I didn't keep that house,
you don't know what would have happened.
Don't know what would have happened.
Right.
She gave me so much. She still gives me lots of grace, right? So thank God that I have the wife I have.
Praise the Lord for sure.
Right, definitely. But the thing is the point is that those mistakes and those things, when you're not living like what the Bible's teaching you.
And it's very clear on that as well.
But thank you. Please tell me, because I don't know it well enough.
It's very clear on that aspect. It says there will be tough times. It doesn't say you know, you may have tough times.
Right.
No. There will be tough times. It clearly says that. Christ says that.
Now, did you take that into account?
No, not at first. This is again at the very beginning. It wasn't a faith-based thing. That was the pull that got me to realize. But it wasn't until
because that was that Bible verse, right?
Right.
Slave to the lender.
Slave to the lender.
Yes.
So that's what the pull was. Because again, I had always had religion.
Right.
I didn't necessarily follow it to the T, but it was always there.
Sure.
And it wasn't until I had that little tug that pulled me into it. So in order to prepare or be prepared for when the bad times or when a time comes, there's a story in the Bible, in one of the parables, where Christ is talking about I believe they're bridesmaids, and the groomsman is out of town, or the master is out of town, and their job is to keep the lamps lit. Okay. For when he comes back and arrives. Now, they don't know when he's going to come back and arrive. Okay. And the idea is that they're to prepare and be prepared. And the way they prepare in the parable is to have oil always available for the lamp so that the light stays lit.
Right.
There were, I believe, 6, and 3 of them did not have oil, and 3 of them did have oil.
Okay.
The 3 that didn't were supposed to go, and they did not go get it. So they asked the 3 that did and said, hey, listen, let us have some of your oil so that we will be prepared. They said, well, no, it is up for you to be prepared and go and get your oil.
Okay.
They leave. Here comes the master, or the groomsman comes back and closes the door. And now the other 3 that were left behind are saying, let us in, let us in. And God, and the parable is saying, the master's like, no, you were supposed to be prepared at all times, to be prepared for everything, because you knew I would return. So essentially, it's the way you can extrapolate. Now, he's talking in contents of when he returns, Christ returns, right? You are to live your life as if he can return in any way, right? You are to be prepared and live as if he was coming back today.
Yeah.
Now, if you extrapolate that out and to put it into other situations and circumstances, you can say we're to be prepared for whatever bad time happens.
Right.
Right? Christ says, there's Antichrist all over. Mm-hmm. You're going to have bad times. There will be deception. There will be people that are out there to deceive and take you off track. You need to have the foresight and bury yourself, number one, in the Word, to be able to discern and figure out which ones are false. But at the same time, prepare and live your life for when he comes finally, that you're accepted in fully and say, well done and good faithful servant, which I think I'll say I fully believe Charlie Kirk has had that happen to him.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But if we extrapolate that out even to finances, that parable tells me, again, looking through the lens of finances, we need to be prepared for anything that can come our way. And if we're not prepared, we're going to get left behind. Okay? In that case, they weren't let into the house. The door was shut behind them.
Right.
And it says, I did not know you. So that's when it comes to Christ. When it comes to finances, if we don't have money or some type of reserve and being prepared and have that preparedness aspect, we're going to get hurt somewhere. Somewhere down the line, something's going to happen. It could be a small bump or it can be a big bump.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we're prepared. I love the fact that you brought up expenses for a month or 2. The old adage was 3 to 6 months of reserve. One of the clarifying questions that I have in the clarity call is, how important do you think it is having a reserve of 6 to 12 months or more? And the reason why it's changed to 6 to 12 and not the traditional 3 to 6 is because of COVID.
Right.
In New York, again, it was extended.
Right.
A lot of people blew through their 3 months. I know I would have blown through my 3 months had I not had a job, because I only kept about a 3-month reserve.
Right.
Okay. And now it's completely different. Now we're 6 to 12. You have to have that 6 to 12. I'm in a season right now where that's quite happening. So you need to have that. You need to be able to. You need to prepare for that. So that's where I love the idea of being upfront with with that understanding. Hey, listen, it's going to be there. It's going to happen. Now, is it going to? Are you going to let it be a small, or are you going to let it be a big?
Right, and that's and if you lose your marriage and everything that's important to you, That's a big.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean,
In marriage, from a biblical standpoint, and I love my pastor because of the way he says this. Again, you made this commitment. You made this commitment to each other, and you're stuck in loving it.
Right.
That's it. You're stuck in loving
you might as well love it. Yeah.
You're stuck in loving it.
Yeah.
Because there will be those ups, there will be those downs. Again, the Bible,
I don't agree with divorce, and I don't agree for divorce with those financial issues. But the thing is that you and I know that's the major cause.
There's no communication in those respects, right? Corinne and I had to communicate.
Yeah.
I had to talk to her. I had her to see certain things. I had her to at least come to me with questions, so that we can talk about certain things. And even during the budgeting process, when we finally started doing everything,
right,
there were still hiccups. There were still like, well, this, and this. We had to work through them.
Right.
And I'm not saying that the finances clean everything, but if you're eliminating the number one cause of divorce, everything else is like low on the totem pole that you can work through. Outside of, let's say, like an adultery type of thing. But even that is workable.
Sure.
Even that is workable. There's hope.
Well, what I think about is the major, right? The major things. Like if you are losing your house, your cars, you can't pay the electric bill, you can't buy food for the children. If things happen like that, where it just starts to erode and dismantle the security.
You're over leveraged, let's say.
You're over leveraged, and and you pay the wrong things. I love how if you are over leveraged, and Dave talks about, hey, look, you need lights, you need a place to live. Okay.
Absolutely.
You don't pay their credit cards
right
before you have food.
Yep.
Okay. So we got to get down to those bare minimums, right?
Yep.
And then we can get back up. But the
food, shelter, utilities, transportation, the four walls, as he calls it.
Okay.
That's his thing. Food, shelter, utilities, and transportation. So food is obviously you need to put food on the table.
Right.
Shelter is your house. Utilities, everything that makes that house function.
Right.
Right. Because you just don't want a shell.
Right.
And then transportation, because you need to work.
Sure.
So as long as you got the four walls, everything else comes second.
Right. Right. Everything else comes second.
Because you can deal with everything else. I mean, you can deal with a credit card. Hey, listen, I can only pay this much. Let's negotiate this. You ain't going to get it this time. But
right.
Because Dave doesn't care about credit. And that's all that matters for.
Right.
That's all that matters for is credit.
Yeah.
Right. People owe money. People owe money to other people all the time.
Yeah, and that's some of the stuff I teach is how do we get the credit? How do we get it back? How do we repair it? How do we what to pay off, what not? Those kind of things. How to negotiate those kind of tactics. And I'm sure you have a version of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And there's no right or wrong way. That's the thing. Again, there's multiple paths to the end.
Well, I love that you start off with a person's values.
Yeah.
What do you value?
Exactly.
What do you value? Now, if we look about it, okay, so we can apply that to money. Where does this need to go?
Absolutely. It's all about that.
Right.
If I don't want to change your mindset.
Right.
I want to see where I can apply this that it makes you see the value in it.
Right.
Because if I can't get what it is that you value with the money or what you believe around money, I can't necessarily help you to the best way.
Right.
Because then I'm just telling you to do. And if we're not aligned,
right,
you're not going to do it. There's going to be resistance, and it's going to fall apart. It's going to just make it harder.
Yeah, waste of time.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So when someone calls you, now I like this because you're taking the best of all these different worlds. Like if you call a Dave Ramsey coach, if you call your financial planner, if you call your mom, if you call Chris, if you call Divine Stewardship, right? You're coming at it from a faith-based Christian value, right? And then on top of it, of your life experiences and all the examples that you're seeing day in and day out.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what when I talk to people. Hey, look, this is what I bring to the table. I have all these examples and all these life things that I've been through.
Right.
You know, that's what I bring to the table. That's how I can help you.
Yeah. Yeah, that it's true. I'm not saying experience is everything.
Sure.
Because even some people that know what to do, they're also good, even though they may not have done it or something themselves, but they've coached others. Think about it. Some of the best coaches were never the best players.
Right.
But they're the best coaches.
Yeah.
So did they experience all the best things and were able to do all the best things? No. But they have coached. They have seen. They have learned. Right? So that's I always say, like, experience is good because you can relate to that person.
Right. Okay.
But it's not necessarily the most important. It's up there, but it's not everything.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I'll just hit home with what that means or how that I can relate to that.
Yeah, of course.
So I just had a friend of mine. He's a business coach, and we talked about it. And he goes, "Hey, yeah, one of my clients is an AC repair. He owns an AC repair company.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to scale that business. Comes to me, and that's what I can do. I can scale the business." And he goes, the first question he asked me, "How many ACs have you repaired?" Hey, look, I don't know the first thing about AC repair.
Exactly.
But what I can tell you is there's certain elements of a business, a successful business, that you have to have.
Right.
I don't need to know how to fix your AC.
Exactly.
You know, in your teaching, you're living the parts of the financial world.
Right. It's with us. There is you have a couple that is true to their faith. You have a couple that struggled financially, in a sense. You have a couple that was hundreds of thousands, $150,000 in just consumer debt.
Right.
Not to mention also on top of that, at the time it was $400,000 on a mortgage.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a couple that had 3 kids during this.
Yeah.
You had a couple that lived through COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, and managed all through that. You have a couple whose breadwinner lost their job not once but twice during all of this. You have a couple that decided to go all in and take a leap of faith and take a business in where we truly care about people and the way they handle money and all the stress and emotion that goes along with that and want to help and make it a business.
Right.
You have a couple that has done the cash. You have a couple that's done the credit. You have a couple that's done the term to whole life insurance flip. You have a couple that has experienced
that's
a lot.
That's a whole nother level.
You have a couple that has experienced a lot of emotion. I love your word, and I'll steal it. An evolution from the process, from start to not necessarily finished,
right?
But a consistent evolution in the whole and the greatest thing is we're still learning.
Well, what I can boil this all down to, and the fact of you losing those jobs, you're a doctor, a nuclear pharmacist, and still lost jobs.
Board certified nuclear pharmacist.
Okay, insane, right? You think you're pretty secure.
Board certified nuclear pharmacist. Again, this is not to tout my own horn, but you mentioned I've had my fair share of exams, and just to run through college alone, getting my license in pharmacy alone, getting my license in law, right, in order to practice. I got it in New York, I got it in Connecticut, I had it in Pennsylvania, I had it in Massachusetts. Okay, so I had it in all those additional states. I then decided to get into real estate, so I got my real estate license at one point, and then I was a bowling coach, right? So I got certified up to there are 3 levels: gold, silver, and bronze. I got to silver level and was going for the bronze until COVID happened.
Wow!
And then I kind of have a pivot because I said, how easy can it be? How easy would it be for me to, if I went with this and became a gold level coach, and I was coaching consistently, how easy would it be to lose the field in which my business relies upon?
Right.
Because all the bowling alley closed.
Right.
As a matter of fact, there were bowling alleys that closed for good in my area because of COVID. So it was like now I'm losing the field in which I'm able to participate and show my skill off and help people. So I had to pivot from there. I then became a certified nutrition coach, health, fitness, and nutrition coach, and then just recently now going all in the financial world. I got my life insurance and health insurance licenses, and I now practice. I'm licensed in Tennessee, Florida, New York, and I'm adding Connecticut.
Okay, wow.
So there is a lot of testing and a lot of studying that goes along with all that.
Right.
So that was
true
just
life
a show.
practice. Now, before we wrap up, given that, given all that knowledge, and then what I'm really seeing right now is that you're not having to drive into an office. You're not having to drive into a pharmacy now. Okay, so now you have changed your life for, if I may just assume this, for what you value the most, your wife and your children.
It brings me closer to them for sure.
So you're not leaving. You're able to go to the games. You're able to go to the events, the church events, all those kind of things that are
more valuable to me
versus going to a company and leading some other people that are not in what you're doing. So now you can live the best of both worlds in a sense.
Yeah,
you have a different, if we call it the freedom, the financial freedom.
Freedom is a financial freedom is a tough word, phrase, because it depends on what that person considers freedom. Right.
Okay.
I'll say this. Since starting this, I am at my daughter's almost every softball game.
Yeah.
I help out. She's just learning pitching now. I'm at every single game. I think I've gone to every practice, just about every practice. Maybe once or twice I had to miss for some other reason. I'm at church services.
Yeah.
I'm serving at church, something that we didn't do before in New York.
Well, it's a time commitment.
It is. But here's the thing. We're able to do it now.
Right.
And being debt-free allows that type of freedom. It allows you to look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
It alleviates the need to do something else that you don't necessarily value as high.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Correct.
Those sayings, hey, look, I have to go to work today.
Right.
I have to brave this traffic.
Beautiful.
I have to.
Absolutely.
Now you've created options.
Correct.
And so how do people find you to create more options for themselves?
Yeah, awesome. So we're on just about every platform, social media platform.
Is it Divine Stewardship?
Yeah, Divine Stewardship on Instagram.
Okay.
Divine Stewardship on TikTok. Divine Stewardship on YouTube.
Okay.
Divine Stewardship on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. If you want to listen to our podcast, we have our podcast on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. We're also on YouTube for the podcast. Our videos are there. And then if I'll give you my email. You can put it in the description.
Okay.
It's c2stanton.divinestewardship@gmail.com right now.
Okay.
But yeah, we're everywhere. So just hit us up with a DM, hit us up with an email, and we'll be open to talk. Obviously.
Fantastic. I love it, and I appreciate what you're doing. And it's a good way.
I appreciate you for sure. This was great.
Awesome.
I'm actually very, very happy that we met when we did and
how
we did.
Me too.
I mean,
Me
it
too.
was a blessing. No matter what happens, there was a reason for us being there at that dinner at that time. And I think it was a true blessing getting to know you and meeting your daughter and
yes, sir,
and whatnot. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, thank you for everything. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.